Welcome to Parenting Village's collaborative chat series. Parenting Village is a program of Jewish Family Services and a nonprofit organization serving caregivers adjusting to parenthood through peer support. I'm Parenting Village board member Kara Juzak, and our chat series is a result of unfortunately having to cancel our largest annual event this year. So in an effort to preserve the educational and fundraising part of our Family Fest, we will first chat, and then you will hear a little bit about how you can help Parenting Village. I'm here with Irene McKenna, Motherhood Empowerment Coach. Our topic today is keeping your cool. So welcome, Irene.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to jump on here and share with your community.
Thank you so much. So, when I read a little bit about you, and I loved the way that you put empowerment and motherhood together. I think that's not often how we feel as moms. We don't always feel empowered. And so I'm so excited to hear from you about how do you put those pieces together for moms. And, my first question, I guess, is, what do you notice as being the trend of what brings moms to you? How are they feeling when they're reaching out to you for coaching?
Yeah, so typically it's child behavior is the biggest reason that they end up coming. But as we talk and go through, it's really the opposite of being empowered. It's feeling the overwhelm and the stress and the reactivity, and I'm yelling and now I'm guilty. And it's all of this swirling day in and day out. We go to bed at night and we swear we're going to be better tomorrow. Tomorrow's just going to work, and then it doesn't. So we read the books, we try to put in these strategies and these tools, and nothing really changes. So we feel we must be doing something wrong, or we don't get to do this. So when I talk about empowered motherhood, I take it, it's kind of like taking one step beyond like peaceful parenting or conscious parenting, where it's like we have these tools and we want to just try to have enough patience to muscle through the day, versus empowered motherhood, where we get to change how we show up. We get to learn how to interact with our reactivity in a different way, so that we can set boundaries and we can, question our thoughts that are causing our reactivity. So it's really about changing how we show up, because, as I like to say, we get to fall in love with motherhood again. We get to have this amazing life, even in the challenging and messy and all of that put together responsibility of raising these tiny humans.
I love that philosophy, and I might have to make an appointment with you. I guess, from that perspective, we, in the moment, I can speak for myself and probably many other moms, we tend to react, right? We have so much on our mind. And especially given the last 6 months or so. And so things are coming up and we're reacting. What advice do you give to, or can you give us today about keeping our cool instead of reacting? What tips and advice would you give?
Absolutely. So reactivity is like, to not react is to not be human. Like we are going to have reactions, and reactions at their core are simply an activation of our pre-programmed primal stress response. And that will happen whether there's actual perceived danger or just the perception of possible danger. And that can come with mental or physical tension. So our body holds that tension, that will send us down there. It can happen with anxious thoughts. And how often does that happen during the day? It happens with waves of emotion, that frustration, that, resentment, the anger, all of those things bubbling under the surface. So the goal isn't to just, as I said before, have enough patience to muscle through. If patience is the goal, you will fail every day. Like, it can't be the goal. So how do we shift how we react and interact with our reactivity? And the way I look at it, it's really 4 things. So it's learning how to question our thoughts and beliefs that are causing our reactivity. When we can identify what is actually triggering us, what is our fear, what is the should, what is the belief that we carry with us from our childhood, what is that happening? When we can learn to do that, and when we learn to set personal boundaries and set boundaries for our children from this place of calm. So the other part of our reactivity is what I call our parenting PR plan, or proactive responsiveness. And that's really 2 parts. And it's meeting our own needs, and that's through acts of self-care. And when I teach self-care, it's not the luxury items, and it's not what somebody else is doing. It's what are we doing in our day already that we can reframe as self-care, because it's the smallest things done with intention that have so much more impact than the biggest things done without purpose. I can have a cup of tea and set the intention that I'm taking these 2 minutes for myself. I can hide in my closet and breathe for 30 seconds and set that as self-care. Self-care is the things, we have this volcano of activity, and we keep our lava calm by doing these things. And as the lava comes up during the day, because again, as I also like to say, we have decision fatigue, we have patience fatigue. We get towards the end of the day and it just goes down. So we're like, it's like we're throwing ice cubes into our volcano. And these are the little things we do all day long. So I really work with moms to come up with a very unique self-care plan that can just be implemented during the day. It's not, I'm waiting to do this or I'm waiting to do that. And then the final thing is desensitizing our stress response. So it's having that ability to create that pause from what happened and our reaction. And we do that through a mindfulness practice. And again, it'd be great if we could have this 30 minutes to meditate every day, absolutely, and we don't. So it's finding these, what I call mindful pauses during our day that we kind of insert. It's also having these grounding techniques that we can insert to our day so that when I notice those feelings of activity come up, I can take a step away, I can ground myself, I can use a breathing practice, I can step outside. So it's those 4 things: questioning our thoughts, setting our personal boundaries, meeting our needs through self-care, and desensitizing our stress response. That is how we build a foundation of staying cool in the moment.
I love it. Such great advice, and so consistent with a lot of what I talk with my patients about as well, but doing it ourselves is another story, right? And so I appreciate the reminder, and hope that some of the people that are watching are able to really kind of process that and think about how that might fit in for them. So when you're working with moms, what have you learned about how families then benefit as a whole from moms feeling more empowered?
Absolutely. So when mom shows up in this different space of being empowered and setting personal boundaries, and she's kind of thrown out the memo that motherhood is all about selflessness and just giving and giving and giving, this is what our kids see. They see us take responsibility when we make mistakes. They see us not, sitting in the guilt that can take over, but they see us setting our personal boundaries. And what changes in a family is all of our relationships, because relationships built on connection have influence. When we can have influence into our child's choices and their decisions, we step out of the control. That means we have to force compliance. And when we can do this, we're teaching our child, we're modeling the values that we want to pass on versus just living the beliefs that we never questioned. So when we're showing up empowered, we're showing that we're human. And it's a journey of what that looks like, that we don't have it all figured out. Empowered doesn't mean we have it figured out. It means that we can ask for what we need. We can navigate conflict with intention and compassion. We can set boundaries that honor our child's autonomy and independence, yet still keep them safe. So when a child can witness this happening, they learn to respect themselves. They learn to love themselves. They learn to ask for what they need. They learn to speak up for themselves. And not only does the parenting relationship change, but if there's a partner involved, that relationship changes. A lot of my clients will say, like, we're like newlyweds again, or, we're just, I'm able to talk to my husband or see things differently because I learned how to show up differently. So really the entire family dynamic gets to change.
Which, makes the work even more valuable when you know that just shifting some of your own ways of seeing parenthood can really kind of trickle down into, as you said, what kids are learning from you, what they're learning about being a human, being an adult as they're developing. So I love that. I love that. And that feels very empowered to talk about it in that way. So Irene, if there's any moms listening that want to learn more about how you can help, that really have connected with what you're talking about and say, that's me, that's something that I need to learn more. How can they connect with you? How can they find you and access your support?
Absolutely. So just to learn more about what I do and the services that I have and kind of my story, my website's a great start, IreneMcKennaCoaching.com. And if you're looking to start that support and to be in a community of moms to get to start doing this work and this process together, if you're on Facebook, I have a Facebook community, Thrive in Motherhood. And in there, I'm posting. We're actually just doing what I call a radical self-love book club for the past 40 days. We're using one of Gabby Bernstein's books and kind of going through this 40-day journey to learn really that foundation of self-love, which is the foundation of being empowered. So it's just about supporting each other and questioning those beliefs and really discovering how self-care can be a part of our life without it having to be one more thing we have to do. So those two ways. My website, if you're on Facebook, join the community. I would love to, connect with your community and support in any way that I can.
Awesome. I actually just wrote down your Facebook group as you were talking. And so many of us are on Facebook, which can really cause a lot of stress for us, right? And we can be exposed to a lot of negativity. So to be able to choose to be part of a community that really is supportive, makes so much sense to spend our time, being involved in communities that are positive. So I'm glad to hear that you have that available for people. And then certainly the opportunity to work one-on-one with you and do some real work around motherhood and feeling empowered just sounds like such a gift. So thank you so much, Irene, for collaborating with us to offer this discussion. This series, again, is one of many virtual events going on to acknowledge the cancellation of our 8th annual Family Fest, where we typically connect families with local resources and businesses in a playful social kind of fundraising event. While we have been creative in continuing to support and connect families, we're still in need of funds to keep going. Our Nurture program and Circles programming are offered free to our participants, allowing them to benefit from peer support whenever they need it. In order to train and staff those programs, we need your help. Please consider supporting Parenting Village by clicking on the donate button on our Facebook page or visiting our website at parentingvillage.org/donate. This series is part of a larger lemonade stand campaign with family-friendly events happening through August. So keep an eye on the events that might be popping up, from puppet shows and skincare and yoga for kids and Pilates for adults. We're really trying to have something for everyone while we continue to try and connect with each other during this time. So don't miss out. Thank you again, Irene, and everyone stay well and take care.